Yay!
Yeah.
All right. Well, hello everybody, and as you can see, things have changed.
Oh no, change. Can't deal with change.
Yeah. Due to realities of real life and responsibilities and such, we have made a change where the former dungeon master has stepped down from his stool, and in his place, I have risen to the task. And what we're gonna do now is that we're going to basically I'm going to narrate an epilogue for the remaining characters of the last session, because so many characters were either about to be put on the shelf and new ones being made in their stead, and as well as the dungeon master coming up with a new character themselves too. We decided that we're gonna just make all new characters, and we're not just gonna reboot and forget everything that happened during this entire campaign thus far. Instead, we're gonna treat this as a sequel where everything that took place in the earlier parts of the campaign have indeed taken place, and it's canonized and everything like that. I'm gonna, if anybody doesn't, if there's nothing else to point out, I'll go ahead and start.
Nope, all good.
All right. Well, in that case, I'll start by imagine that you at this point basically see nothing, and the only thing you hear is the sound of wind. And the sound of wind gets stronger and stronger and starts to form into the sounds of a storm roaming outside. You hear all sorts of cobblestones and pebbles and wheat and everything blowing in very harsh winds. And you start to hear footsteps, and you start to hear a person running and panting frantically as they're running. And you will finally see a cloaked figure, a drow elf, running in the woods. And right behind him is running a saber-toothed tiger. And while this storm is raging, and while everything is like whoosh, very strongly there, the saber-toothed tiger is like panting and running and like really like on the prey's trail. And behind this saber-toothed tiger, a little whiles away, is a knight sitting on top of a steed, of a glorious war horse, and he has a cart strapped into the horse, and he sees his friend running after their target, this drow elf running away, and he's unwinding the cart off of his steed and like taking the straps off in a frantic manner, and then getting up the horse and and the horse just starts to run after his friend frantically. And while he's running with thick forests in both sides of the road that they're all running on, starts to see as leaves and as grass and wheat and everything like that is blowing in the wind. He also starts to see remnants of thick white fog coming in between the trees and closing in, and he can see that in the forefront, in the long ways away from him, in front of his friend and in front of this drow that's running away, the fog is almost coming like some sort of a sickle. It's almost like circling in front of his friend and of his prey. And while he's riding forward and trying to catch up to his friend to warn her about what's ahead, he notices suddenly a strange figure in the mist, right in his rear, right in the edge of the forest, in the thick white fog, and he sees a humanoid shape, a silhouette of someone whose thin hair is blowing in the wind and who has like wide-shouldered armor pieces, clearly judging from his silhouette. who's stepping forward towards him, and whose eyes are eerily glowing in the fog. And the knight, seeing this, pulls on the straps on his horse and makes the horse lift its front hooves in the air, and in this a grand pose of the horse standing on its hind legs, and the knight taking his warhammer and lifting it in the air in this kind of issuing a challenge for this creature that's stepping forward from the fog, lets out this war cry, and the horse screams loudly. This horse's scream of a challenge. And the saber-toothed tiger running in front hears this, turns back to look at what's going on behind her, and sees his friend issuing some sort of a valiant challenge of a knight towards the rear, towards the edge of the forest. And she can see that from the edge of the forest, this white fog is coming, and she can see the same thing that this knight saw in front of him, that this sickle-like formation of fog is just circling around the knight behind her, and she sees this figure step from the fog, and from her point of view, it's just the back of some wide-shouldered soldier-looking character, someone with completely white, wispy hair just blowing in the wind, and someone who's like drawing a sword from its scabbard, just like a slow. And when she sees this and she looks back at the drow, she then notices the sickle-shaped fog growing stronger, and spots that this drow that she was pursuing has completely disappeared from her sight, and most likely into the fog itself. And by this time, she turns around again to look at his friend, seeing that they're being surrounded by this fog, and she sees that an additional curtain of the fog has already, in this time, bellowed out and completely blocked her sight from her friend. And while this fog is billowing out, it starts to get into her breath. She starts to struggle to breathe. She shapeshifts back into her natural form of a gnome, and with a staff in her hand, and she tries to scream out to Cain. She screams out his name, looks around, can't locate him no matter what she does. She can see only to the distance of her own outstretched hand in the fog at this point, while the windstorm is howling around her. And the breathing in the fog is starting to get so challenging that she starts simply coughing her lungs out, at which point she drops the staff from her hands and it drops to the ground, and she frantically immediately goes to search for the staff, and already it feels like the fog has completely disorganized everything, and everything seems to be out of place. She can't place the staff in her feet, and she tries, while coughing her lungs out, she tries to scream for Cain's name, but at this point her screams aren't even audible. You can just see her mouth moving, and with her eyes watering from coughing, and you can see this just pure whiteness everywhere, with just this one lone figure, this gnomish druid without her staff, standing in the middle of the fog, as the fog just keeps thickening, and her, the visual of her keeps dimming and dimming and dimming, until this final curtain washes over her. And at that point you would start to hear the opening theme from The Shining come in. And while that would come in and kind of wash over her, leaving basically nothing but just white fog and the sounds of a windstorm howling, you would start to see visuals of fields where dead grass is just just blowing in the wind while the wind gathers and the wind and the fog grows and time passes. And you would then see ice cold streams near the woods where, again, the wind is blowing debris around in the forest floor as the streams sound their sloshing as the fog just builds and moves around it as time passes. And you would also see mountainsides, great big mountains or rocky mountains, and you would see fog just coming like a tidal wave behind them and crash into these mountainsides and cascade down them like some avalanche or something, like filling these valleys beneath them as this kind of fog just dominates and shapes the world around it as time passes. And you would then just see, like before, just a white fog with the sounds of the howling wind kind of starting to die down little by little, until you would hear another sound, which would be the sound of horse hoofs and wagon wheels. And you would slowly start to see, while this is going on, just slowly coming into, like fading in from the white, you could see a carriage pulled by a single horse and operated by a single driver, a balding, blonde-bearded farmer looking middle-aged dwarf who's just with the horse. And he's carrying on his carriage a group of 5. And these 5 are Monster Hunter Guild members from a guild called the Hive. Now, 1 month prior, near the areas of the Misty Forest, in the territory that the Hive considers its territory of interest, reports have been coming in of terror attacks by werewolves. Cattle has been mutilated, people have been murdered, and the most disturbing of all, perhaps, children have been abducted. When these attacks first started, the local powers summoned a group of specialists, a 6-man brotherhood called the Brotherhood of Silver. Now, these specialists were issued with the task of investigating the werewolf attacks and putting a stop to them. When they arrived, for a little while, everything seemed to be kind of dying down, like the attacks started to lessen, and everybody felt confident with this group. However, with about a month going by with no reports coming in and no sightings of the Brotherhood of Silver, and the werewolf attacks commencing once more, the powers that be turned to the local Monster Hunter Guild, the Hive. And the Hive has been going under some certain financial troubles lately, so being the kind of second choice for this task, there isn't really anyone else to turn to, and the people are desperate. And thus, you were all brought to the last witness of the Brotherhood of Silver, which was this farmer dwarf named Sullivan, who brought the Brotherhood here at to the edge of the Misty Forest and left them there to go on about their investigation. And this is where this monster hunting guild is being brought now. As the cart is passing by, we would see the occupants of the cart. Starting with who's most likely in the forefront of everything, the eldest member and the most veteran with the most authority in the group, Sharp. Could you describe what we see when we see Sharp as the first person on the cart?
Well, what you would say is this. She's still very much in her prime, even though she's the oldest, but she is this veteran soldier, or rather mercenary. She looks like she knows what she's doing. She looks calm and collected. She's not that interested in the views because they're new, but she does keep a very eye out because you need to know what's coming. And she's wearing this full plate armor, and it looks functional rather than stylish or embellished. But you know that this armor, it will do the job. It's not very fancy, but it does the job. And she has a shield that she's always carrying with her as well, and it has the uh, sign from the group, the three hexagons. And she's a tiefling. She has very red skin, darkish red, and she has purple hair that's always braided down, and two curling horns. On these horns, you have these golden rings, the signet rings from previous groups that she's mentored or been part of before.
And that's also, that's something to point out. Every member of the hive has a signet ring shows their emblem, which is 3 hexagons, very much like in a beehive, And the most veteran members also have some sort of a extra emblem to point out their kind of field of expertise or their rank or some such. Yeah. And also something to point out, the Brotherhood of Silver also had an emblem, and that emblem was basically a shield, like a crest, with a sword pointing upright and 2 severed wolf heads that are bleeding blood, and it's like silver on a tan surface. And after Sharp, I would expect that the next most senior member would be next on the card, which would be Gerard. And what do we see when we see Gerard?
Gerard is probably not sleeping, but leaning his head against the thing, sort of his eyes closed, maybe mumbling to himself. He's he looks older. He's 50s-ish, so old for the era anyway. His short, balding hair used to be black, but is now mostly grey. Same with his, he has a close-cut beard that's mostly grey, flecked with black. And he's wearing his half-plate mail issued by the Hive. Before he joined the Hive, he never really bothered with armour. So it's fairly cheap, given the Hive's financial trouble, but it's functional. It has the emblem on it. And he wears his vestments, sort of a reminder of his old order that he belonged to, which was a priesthood of Kalimvor. And he wears them over the top of his armour, and he has his signet ring. I'm checking your picture on that finger. I'm going by what your picture. Which is the same sort of hexagon, but it has a book in the middle of it to signify, because he is a more senior member than a recruit, but he's also a cleric, and so that's his insignia. And in his hand, he always has clutched his it's an amulet of Kalimvor. It's sort of like rosary beads, so he never really wears it around his neck. He always sort of has it clutched in his hands, and at his side he has a shield and mace.
Okay, nice. Most likely, right next to you, seeing as you're on good terms and buddies and all that, and you're most likely also in the sort of supervisory role over her. Yep. Would most likely be Rash Kai. What would we see when we see Rash Kai?
Rash Kai looks like a human at first glance, but upon closer inspection, you notice that she has very severe snake-like features. Her eyes are almond-shaped and kind of slant back just a bit, as though her skull is shaped more akin to a snake. Her eyes are bright, vivid, almost enchanting green with golden pupils. Her hair is long and dreadlocked with black roots that turn golden, blonde, and white. She is kind of the opposite of Sharp, in that instead of wearing something that's functional and utility based, she is just like basically showing skin. She's got like sort of an almost elaborate top piece that is very, very similar to like what a belly dancer might wear. When I was making her, I was thinking about Shakira, so think Shakira. She has a sort of beaded purple hip skirt that covers her hips, and her belly button is pierced with the signet ring, the hive signet ring. In one hand, she's kind of doing those kind of rolling ball tricks with a golden and purple orb with strange insignias and writing in it. And across her body, in purple and red, are tattooed in what to us would appear to be like Arabic henna, just insignias and all types of stuff across her entire body. She also carries a whip, and I think that's it. I don't think is there anything else to her visually?
I think that pretty much covers it. Yeah. Like your character is mentioned to have like leather armor and stuff like that, but I'm sure, like, yeah,
fantasy leather armor. It's just
yeah,
covering
exactly.
the important bits. Yeah.
It's Final Fantasy leather armor. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
Here,
Built into the skin.
yeah. Yeah, but anyway, that's Rush Kai, and then after her, I would expect that there would be perhaps Warren Tallstone, also a new, rather new recruit. What do we see when we see Warren Tallstone?
We're on a wagon, right? Riding on a wagon.
I'm imagining it being a similar kind of wagon cart as in the opening of Skyrim kind of thing, where you're sitting or like facing one another on both sides kind of thing.
Oh, you're finally awake.
So yeah,
it's a humble little cart from a farmer, you know.
You see a man sitting there wearing leather armor and having a comfortable looking cloak over his shoulders. He has reddish hair to about his shoulders, and the first thing that strikes you immediately is that there, on his lap, there's an imp sitting across of him, and they both have like this a couple of cards in their hands, and they're just like playing apparently a card game together. And it all happens in quiet, so they seem to just be, now and then one of them goes like, yeah, and they just play this card game and having a good time together. On his right hand, he also has the signet ring. He looks quite comfortable to be here, and seems to be very much relying on Sharp to keep an eye on things and to give a call out if danger arises. And they're just sitting there. He has quite a natural smile on his face, and he has a positive demeanor. The only thing that belies his appearance is his eyes. His eyes seem to be not as sparkly as you would expect a person of his demeanor and of his way of acting to be. They have a certain stare about them, like unable to see true beauty in the world.
A bit of a 1,000-yard stare kind of thing.
Yeah, kind of like that. Kind of like being there, but not being there completely. And the imp, on the other hand, seems to be quite enjoying himself, and his eyes belie little of the entertainment that he's having, and they sometimes look around to their fellow cart members, and they seem to be having a good time. If possible, he probably has his feet up on the opposite side of the cart, so that the distance between him and the imp is a little bit bigger, so that they are neither tempted to look at each other's cards. So that's pretty much it.
All right. Well, after that, there's only one person left, and I would expect, since we're dealing with a rogue, you would have your eyes on the rear of the car, just making sure you're looking out for everybody's back. And James Baxter. What do we see when we see James Baxter?
Yes, James Baxter is an offling with warm ivory skin. He's very young. He's at the back of the cart, looking around him with a little glinster in his eye, like a little spark, because this is his first big adventure. So he's really excited for it. He has a cloak on him, which is give me a second. Sorry about that. Yeah, he's wearing a black cloak because, he's a rogue, and if needed, he needs to be able to hide. Besides that, he has like just a normal belt on him with 2 short swords on it. Nothing too fancy on him because, rogues usually just keep it very casual. Besides that, he only has the ring with the 3 hexagons on it. And he has black hair, blue eyes, and that's James Baxter.
All right. And also on that note of having fancy equipment, like I mentioned before, the guild has dealt with some financial troubles lately, which is the reason why these people have been sent on this mission without having any sponsored magical items or any sort of fancy knickknacks, with them. So it's like clear why they were like the second choice to this group of specialists who are now missing that you're after. To everybody also watching, we're dealing with 5th level characters. Everybody in the group is level 5. And now that everybody's been kind of introduced, you can see that this dwarven farmer kind of pulls on the strains of his horse and just kind of, and the horse kind of just kind of shakes its head and stops and starts to kind of dig the ground with its hoofs. And the dwarf kind of like turns to you guys and says that this is it. That's the spot. And he's pointing out to you're little bit over the edge of the misty forest. You're practically in it, though there's a cart road still going through it. There is, like as the name says, there is this very faint mist, kind of like if regular mist, if you're early in the morning and you're up and it's been raining all night, just kind of like this, like ankle height, just mist in the forest. And he's pointing his finger to a tree right in front of you guys. And on the tree, you can see claw marks, like giant, like some sort of a giant beast had just like sharpened its claws on that tree trunk. And that's where he's pointing his finger as his like digging out his tobacco and pipe to take a break now that you guys have arrived.
I'll probably get up and kind of hop off the cart, and I'll extend my hand to Rashkai and James to kind of help them off the cart.
Sharp will also get off, and she'll say, "Well, kids, there's your proof of monsters." Yes, she calls them kids. Even if they're older than her, because I think Warren might actually be older than her, she still calls him a kid because he's inexperienced.
Rashkai will look over at Gerard, like making sure this is where we're getting off.
Yep. Gerard will, after it stops, and after a couple of seconds, he'll sort of lean forward, give a nod, and start to. He's not quite a spring chicken anymore, so it takes a bit of doing to get out of his seat, and thunks to the ground.
She'll take Warren's hand and daintily kind of skip down the side of the cart.
Yeah, I'll just smile at. So what's your Warren, right?
Warren, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Good. Okay. James will smile at Warren and take his hand, not because he needs help getting off, because he's really flexible and athletic himself, but just to be nice and show appreciation. He accepts it and gets off.
All right. As soon as I'm, by the way, off the cart, Kiriman, which is the name of my imp, he disappears, and I just kind of look around and kind of look at Sharp and at Gerard to kind of get like a cue from them, like, you know.
How big or how tall are the scratches?
13 to 14 feet high.
3 tall.
How big is that tree?
It's
Wait,
a tree standing there. It's big.
So it's like way up. The claw marks are way up.
Yeah.
Okay. Gerard was going to say it could have been a bear, but no, never mind.
Yeah, it's like a dire bear.
Yeah.
Was like scratching on it.
Yeah, it could be a dire wolf, I suppose. One of them on their hind legs.
So who are
Maybe?
you good
Yeah.
at climbing?
Yeah.
I'll have Kiriman kind of fly up there and take a look at it.
All right. He's still invisible, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. You will just hear the
I'm just gonna
of its
stand there.
wings. Now, you will also hear kind of this little bit of from up there, and you will see little splinters of wood just kind of drop in front of your feet from up there, and go ahead and make a investigation roll for Kiriman.
Yeah, if it need be, I'll kind of probably take over his sight for a moment, and so I can take a look at it myself as well.
Oh, okay.
And so we'll look at it together, giving me the help action to kind of investigate it.
All right.
There we go. That is 18.
Okay. By the way, how do you have, like, how high is your nature, basically? Like, even if you don't have the dot on.
I have a +1.
Okay. You can tell from the scratches and the way the kind of splinters that go off from each like carving of it that the color of it has started to really like dim out, and it's not like, it doesn't look fresh at all. It looks actually quite old. It looks like it's it might be like a month old or something. Most likely it was here when the Brotherhood was originally dropped here. Most likely this was also their kind of first clue where to start their investigation.
Yeah, I'll relay this information to everybody.
Gerard will turn around to the dwarf he was taking a break, wasn't he? He hadn't left yet.
Yeah, he's like filling his pipe.
Yeah, he'll turn around to him. Do you know which direction they went after you dropped them off?
Like putting it in his mouth a little bit, and he's like, "Oh, I brought them here, and one of them was really curious about those scratches on the tree. The rest were kind of looking around, looking to him, and after a while, he kind of lifted his nose up in the air, and almost like a foxhound started to sniff and take some sort of scent or something. But when he did, the others just kind of exchanged looks, and they nodded to me and started to wander off into the woods off the beaten path. Never saw them again.
Which direction did they go?
I think it was that way. Yeah, it was definitely left of the road.
Thank you.
Just lighting up his pipe and just...
Gerard will go and have a look, see if he can see any tracks or anything in that direction, or indications to make sure that is the way that they went, like, broken twigs.
But it's been like a month ago, right?
Well, yeah, but I mean, there might be something. Little sign that says they went this way.
Well, make a you can make it either an investigation roll or a investigation roll. Let's go.
I can.
Well, I'm gonna give himself guidance as well. So.
Yeah, I have
Go
between. Are we not planning on using Roll20?
You can use whatever you feel like works best for you. I have my set of physical dice here, and I'm not parting with them. I'm using them. But you guys can use whatever apparatus and software really whatever works best for you.
Did you say investigation?
Yeah.
That's a -1, so that's 20, dirty 20.
Oh, okay, good.
Oh yeah, it was a good roll.
Well,
-1.
You did put guidance on yourself,
Yeah.
so good going there. When you start to kind of rummage and roam around near the tree with the scratches, you start to find little tufts of fur, like gray fur, like really dark gray fur that's really rough, and they're like patches, like these little almost little just lumps here and there, just that have been caught in outward protruding twigs and sticks, and if there's fallen trees and branches come off of those, they might have scratched something, and there's a little bit of hair there. But you can see definitely that they are leading to the direction that that Sullivan, the dwarf, was talking about.
He'll turn to Sharp and sort of looks like they went that way.
Ah,
All right.
nice. We already got our first clue. Awesome.
Did Warren relay the information about the tree?
I did, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. All right. Looks like we're heading that way.
When you start to take your first kind of steps toward that way, Sullivan will point out that I'll stick by here for another hour, but if you're not back by then, I'll start heading home.
Sounds fair.
Gerard will give a sort
Safe
of
journey.
All right. Well, the group starts to move further into the misty forest, and there's this kind of each one of you, once you step off the beaten path of the cart road, there's this, even though most of you, actually not most of you, when some of you are more experienced in this kind of work of monster hunting, those of you who are especially on your first mission or one of your first missions, there is a tingling kind of in your spine. You gotta I got a bad feeling about this kind of thing when you step off the beaten path. It's like this frontier of just wild woods that are not like modern day woods that are taken care of and all that stuff. It's very, very thick brush, a lot of spider webs and a lot of fallen trees and branches and stuff. You need to really look into your feet so that you don't break your ankle on anything. You guys start to move forward. What's the kind of on everybody's mind? Like, what are you looking for something? Are you looking to figure out something, or what's on the forefront of everybody's kind of mind when you're going in further?
Gerard will probably be he'll be bringing up the rear, sort of keeping an eye out. He assumed that Sharp would go to the front, and he'll stay to make sure no one falls back or drags off. But he'll also be staying quite close to Rashkai as well, and he'll probably be not so much thinking, but just wondering, like, I hope this is a quick one, because it's, he prefers fighting undead and things like that. He's only really on this mission because of Rashkai and to help Sharp out as a sort of, not a favor to the guild, but sort of a you're going on this mission type. Sort of, he was ordered to go on, so he's like, let's get this over with. Hopefully it's quick. And he'll probably be smoking as well, because he's Gerard and Gerard smokes. as Rohir will remember.
Yeah.
That's-
Sharp. Sorry, go on.
No, go ahead.
I was gonna say Sharp will be at the front, and she will be pacing pace kind of well, so she know that the newer ones can keep up because they're probably not used to, marching on in either the terrain or just off the path or stuff like that. But also because she wants to take slow and make sure she doesn't miss anything. So she would be looking where she steps. She would be looking to follow the trail that Roar pointed out earlier, and try to not walk into any traps or something, or point out that hazard route because there's a route there. It will trip you. It will hurt when you fall.
Exactly.
As for James, it's very easy getting over this rough road because he has excellent footwork. So he's not that stressed about the roots on the floor and everything. As you mentioned, he will probably feel like the tingling over his spine from, is this safe? But he doesn't mention it at all because, well, there are a lot of experienced people and he trusts everyone there. And he's just trying to learn and get as much experience as possible. So he's just...
look confident.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, when it comes to Warren, he's either behind James or behind Sharp. And he is not a fan of trudging through the forest, but he knows how to do it. So he's not too worried about misstepping his feet or anything. His hand does slide kind of in his pocket, and he just grabs a hold of his sphere there, and just if anything happens, then he knows he's ready for it, and he'll have Kiriman kind of fly a little up to get like on a level where he gets a good view of the surroundings. And not just focus on the front, but also kind of keep an eye on the sides to see that we're not ambushed from the sides and stuff.
I want to mention that James is doing the same. So he's like keeping a look on everything, see if anything is abnormal.
All right. Is Kiriman directed to go like above tree level?
No, because if he goes above tree level, then he just sees the branches and stuff. So he probably just stays underneath the canopy, but he does keep an eye out on him.
All right. What about Rashkai?
1 second.
What, he dies?
Oh, there you go. It was actually that.
Let me just add, because the claw marks were so high up, Sharp will be looking up as well and not just on the ground. Because whatever places claw marks up there either moves up on the trees or jumps between trees or something. Because I only saw it high, right? I didn't see it like all the way up, just high.
No, it was like from high all the way to, like, I would say your waist height.
Oh, so like something really huge did it, or something slid down.
Yeah. It could be either, really. It could be either something big that stretched up and stretched down, or something that kind of slammed into it and just was dragged down or something.
Okay, she will still be looking up.
Okay.
Rashkai is directly ahead of Warren, probably, or not Warren, Gerard, as he is, taking the back. And Rashkai is probably not used to being in the forest really at all, like being off the road and stuff like that. She tends to be around people. And she doesn't really have like proper boots or footwear for this. So she'd probably be like very, very much kind of like, I can't do anything here anyways. I'm no use here unless Gerard tells me to do something else. I'm just going to watch to make sure I don't trip and fall over all the crap out here.
For Rash, it's also a point of interest that she might pay attention to instead of only paying attention to the forest itself. It's these people around you, these humans and tieflings and halflings. There's a lot of different things of their demeanors to kind of read about them. Like you can see those who are like clearly projecting confidence for the sake of projecting it. You can clearly see that there are those who project like genuine confidence, some who project interest, and some who are concerned, or different things like that. Those kind of things tend to she tends to spot things like that.
Sure. But how long has she been with these people? Because I feel like she would have spotted that shit like instantly. If this is this her first interaction with them, or has she been on fucking whatever before?
Most likely this is the first time all of you are working as one, especially since James is on his first mission.
Got it. Okay.
So even for Warren and for you can decide whether this is your first mission or, like, let's say first mission for this guild or something like that. That's completely up to you.
All right, Warren,
It's
what do you
Jim's
say?
first big mission.
In my mind, we already had a mission together, kind of grouping the two of us together, because I was kind of the introducee of Sharp, and you were from Gerard. And if I'm like, fuck it, we'll just group it together. And again, in my mind, we kind of dealt with a small undead problem in like a town or something, just to see, like, okay, you know, are these not total noobs? Okay, we can probably use them. So, yeah, but that's just how I picture it. But if you say like, hey, that was separate, that was just you, that's fine with me as well.
No, that's perfectly fine. So then, if that's the case, she probably would have already kind of sussed out, as you know, like surface level, at least the rest of the like cast. So I think James would be the only person she'd still kind of be interested in paying attention to.
Yeah. Okay. Around this time, when you're moving deeper into the forest, the sight of the cart with the dwarf is starting to kind of fade out, and with the thick woodland scenery, he also gets kind of blocked out by just how many trees there are, just kind of blocking the view. And around this time, I would have every single one of you make a perception roll.
Okay.
30, 21.
16.
That was dirty 20 for brains. What else? What else?
I got 16. Did you say 20 or 21?
21. No, I'm sure it doesn't matter, but yeah.
Okay, 20, 16. What everybody else got?
Mine is 11.
Okay.
8.
21.
Okay. So in that case, your two senior members both spot the same thing, and Rashkai spots something a little different. That's on the side a little bit. The two veterans, Sharp and Gerard, both spot a spot in the kind of a very direction you guys were heading towards. You notice that there is a spot where the kind of forest, like greenery, is completely slanted down, and there are birds pecking at something that looks like a slight mound, and there's all of a sudden this kind of this iron-like smell, kind of like a semi-fresh kill, you know, in the distance ahead. And when you guys notice that, Rashkai notices something different. Where you guys have been walking and you're looking into your feet and you're like, you don't want to step on anything nasty and all that, Rashkai will notice that right in the kind of peripheral vision, in the ground level, you notice a shoe. And it's a tiny shoe, like a child's shoe.
She'll immediately like stop Gerard and point at it.
Gerard will take a look at it.
All right. When you go and look at it, you just notice that in the kind of brush, there's a child's shoe that's like its wrappings, it's like strings are like completely loose, and there are tiny droplets of blood on the tip of the shoe. Kind of like, well, you can make an investigation roll actually on that.
Sure. Oh, my rolls are amazing. No, it's a -1. 18.
18, okay. Judging from the droplets of blood, it looks like they aren't from like the wearer of these shoes. They look like that they have been coming from like a vertical direction, like either from front or back or however way this person has been turned. And judging from the shape and size of the shoe, you're dealing with 7 to 8 year old child. And yeah, you guys noticed that. And meanwhile, Sharp was the one who noticed the mound with the birds pecking.
Yeah, I would probably head over that direction and like call out to my team like, hey, kids, I think there's been a kill here. Tread carefully. But would I, based on like the presence of birds, assume that there's nothing super dangerous nearby right now?
Yeah. Based on that, you don't get this kind of, let's say, a tingling that you might get when you feel like there's somebody like lurking behind a corner or something. You feel almost like this is like this seems like something someone left here and has perhaps gone already.
Yeah, that would then head over to the mound a bit more quickly.
While everybody's kind of
birds.
yeah, while everybody's moving forward, many of you, especially the ones who didn't spot these particular things, James and Warren, you would also notice that while you're kind of like real like sticks breaking underneath your feet and all this, feeling like all sorts of branches are trying to really like scratch on your shoulders while you're walking and everything, you start to notice that there is a lot of fog out here. This is the misty forest, but it feels like every direction you turn to, there's always a presence of fog. Somewhere it's going at knee height, somewhere it's ankle height, but it feels like there's always this strip of white and pale gray everywhere.
All right. If I notice that and it feels a bit, like claustrophobic almost, starting to become, I'll have Kiriman kind of come closer and kind of sit on my shoulder and just kind of look also in the back and just kind of focus more on my personal safety than the group's personal safety. And we'll kind of be looking around, and I'll call out to Sharp and I'll say, what do you got there?
I don't know yet. Let's investigate.
You step forward, and once you've gotten close enough, you do notice at that point when you're close enough to see the birds, there were like two crows just pecking on it. They just kind of fly off and crow as they go. You notice that there is indeed a dead body, and it's a naked dead body, and it's a dead body of a male. Around the age of 14 to 15. He looks to be, athletic or like a farmer, at least, like wide-shouldered and like a, sturdy lad. And he's lying there, and you can roll, actually, like if you have medicine, you can go and roll that for added stuff.
Can I roll it if I have it not proficient?
Sure, you can go. You have experience in your field.
I have experience.
You've seen many cadavers.
Can I use survival instead of medicine?
Well, sure, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm proficient in survival. I need that 12.
Okay. Well, with 12, you notice that this body has most likely been here for maybe just a couple of days. This body doesn't look like it corresponds with the around month-old stuff on the tree. This looks much more of a new sighting. And when you get closer to it, you notice also that this kid, his body is it's like on its stomach. You can see like the back of it, and his body is filled with scars. It's like zigzag everywhere. Like it's like somebody who's been rolling in barbed wire or something like that. It's but it's clearly a dead body, and there's a lot of dried blood, like splattered right in his near vicinity in the greenery in the shrubbery there.
Did
And
you
yeah,
say
Hmm?
did you say they were scars? Or were they just like wounds?
They were scars. They are clearly stuff that's healed up at some point,
Okay.
but they're not the wounds that have caused his death, at least seemingly. So yeah, everybody kind of gathers around, and like there's Gerard and Rashkai have found the shoe thing, and everybody else is around this dead body here. And everybody's present. Like it's easy to get this kind of feeling, like, oh, I hope everybody's still here. Oh yeah, everybody's here, like head count kind of thing, especially for Sharp.
Yeah,
Was
there
whenever
anything
she
else?
looks
Oh, go
up,
ahead.
like before she's like about to flip it over, because she's gonna flip it over the corpse.
Yeah. Okay.
But she basically looks up. Everyone's here. Okay, good. Flip.
All right. If everybody's there and you're gonna flip the body and everything, everybody who wishes to do so can also roll either an investigation or a medicine roll.
Is
I'll throw an
Gerard
investigation.
close enough to do that, or is he too?
Sure. I would think that by the time that the body gets turned, you guys have already like closed it in.
Sure.
Unless
16.
unless you deliberately want to kind of stay off to have like a one-on-one conversation about stuff or anything like that.
No. After he looks at the shoe, he's basically going to turn to Rashkai, and out of habit, he'll slip into Draconic, and he'll just say to her, "See what's up here," and just sort of gesture to the rest of them, or to sort of catch up.
Yeah, she'll nod and go and check out. And I rolled a 16 on investigation.
Oh,
All right.
Yeah, through 14.
Is it? Did you say investigation or medicine?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Plus
either.
one.
Oh! I got medicine for days. 22. Wasn't even
Right.
a good roll.
But yeah, Sharp would have waited until everybody was present, and basically it's a teaching opportunity. So she will flip it so everybody can see.
Have you got
and
like a
learn,
pointing
you
stick?
know, and more like she's trying to assess what everybody can pick out.
All right. What about James and Warren? What
I
did you
threw
guys get?
14.
14.
I got 10.
Oh, okay. Well, when Sharp goes to turn the body over and its arm is just gonna go there, you can see that his abdomen has completely been just disemboweled by a completely ruthless and brutal means. It's like there's this like basketball size hole in the middle of his like belly, and like stuff has not naturally fallen out but instead have been torn out. It looks like it's the work of one single very violent act of one strike, or at least that's what it seems. And yeah, when you turn him over, it's even more evident that we're dealing with someone who's around 14 years old. But yeah, still covered in scars all over. And yeah, there's blood everywhere.
Gerard will step forward and crouch over the body and sort of mutter a prayer and cast Gentle Repose.
Alright.
You touch a corpse or remains for the duration. It is protected from decay and can't become undead. Sort of like a blessing on the thing. And
Alright.
he'll sort of say to the others, start digging a small grave, and anyone who has a weak stomach you might not want to watch. And he'll then cast Speak with Dead.
All right. Well, how does everybody react? Also, for Gerard, is there anything specific you want to point out about how you do prayers? Do you have any kind of hand gestures, or is certain like any kind of expressive things that anybody would notice that, oh, it's that religion or something?
Apart from the symbol of Kalimvor that he holds in his hand, probably not much. It's all very like subtle. It's, whenever he's uttering the prayer, he's sort of holding the beads and the amulet close to his mouth while he's muttering it, and then over the head of whatever it is he's blessing or targeting. So it's all very, I don't know, tame as far as it's all very just does the thing, done. There's
All right.
there's very little flair to it.
Efficiency.
yeah.
Sharp likes it.
Yeah, exactly. So
All right. What's everybody's reaction to what Gerard just said about digging a grave and the weak stomach and just turning away?
Rashkai's going to kneel down by the corpse and turn to Gerard while he's doing this and say, "Should I be the one to conversate with him?"
can you? Let me just check.
I don't know.
Yeah, that's a good question. I don't.
As for James, it is his first corpse he'd be seen, but he's not that. He's not like doesn't get nauseous by it or anything. It's like, oh, okay, well, this is a corpse, I guess. It's shitty, but doesn't do a lot to him. But he will probably start digging a hole, I guess, for the
Yeah, I'll.
child.
I kind of take off my backpack, look at it for a moment, and go like, "Damn, forgot my shovel," and I put my backpack back on.
I was thinking, like, what? Warren is gonna. Yeah.
So I kind of just stand there and just go like yeah, okay.
Well, I can point out that for Sharp, the initiative that James is showing, that's something that stands out. Like the shortest of everyone around is the first guy to
Shortest, youngest, most eager, perfect.
yeah. And also the soil is going to be very hard terrain to dig because there's going to be a lot of roots, a lot of rocks, a lot of boulders, stuff like that. So most likely you're going to leave some sort of a big mound behind you because it's going to be hard to dig really deep.
Yeah.
DM,
I'll leave this to you. It says, so you grant the semblance of life and intelligence to a corpse of your choice within range. It must answer the questions you pose. So is that specific that it's only me that can communicate with it, or is it can any? Could I get?
I'll allow others to take part if you're allowing it.
Yeah.
As the caster of the spell.
Okay, that's fine. As far as the answers go, it doesn't need to tell me the truth. Answers are usually brief, cryptic, or repetitive, and the corpse doesn't need to tell you the truth. So just for you being the dead body.
Yeah. What about Sharp? What's Sharp doing while everybody else is doing it?
She would want to hear the responses from the talk with dead. But she probably is pretty much unfazed. She has been through this before.
Yeah.
I'm
going to say
so
Rashkai
poor
probably.
James is the only one like the.
But she would help him afterwards because he's probably not going to be so quick.
Yeah, once he's poofed, and being a halfling, he's gonna be poofed after like a couple of centimeters, most likely.
Yeah, I'll start digging, but I'll keep my eyes open to what the rest are doing.
So sure, tell him I'll help you in a moment. Let's just see what the.
I would assume if Rashkai's been on a mission with me before, which I think was what we said we had done, I would assume this has probably happened if there was a dead body that we done this where got it to speak and got him to actually use, or got her to use her skills of communication and manipulation. So I would assume it's probably not something you've done often, but you've possibly at least done it once before. So whenever you come over and say that, I'll be like, yeah, please. As usual, we can only ask it 5 questions. Find out, if you can, what his name is, where he was from, so that we can return the body if need be, what killed him, and what happened.
Okay.
After James kind of started shoveling, after about 2 to 3 shovels, I kind of look at him and I just, because I just feel like awkward just standing here, I just kind of lean over, pick up a branch and kind of like throw it to the side. I'm helping.
So, you can almost feel like you don't see it because he's invisible, but you can feel Kiriman just kind of like, weak human.
As the corpse starts to quickly animate, Rashkai's gonna cast Friends on it.
All right. Is there anything specific you want to describe on how the Speak with Dead, kind of like how you cast that spell?
Sure. Yeah. So again, he does the same sort of thing as he did with Gentle Repose, sort of like utilitarian, sort of very brief prayer. But I would say there's more oomph to this one. There's more like magic that actually gathers and goes through him. So there's probably like a sort of like a transfer of light whenever he's got his beads and brings them down. There's sort of like a flash of light between them, and probably goes. I always imagine it goes a bit quiet as the corpse reanimates and it sort of goes a bit still. So yeah.
All right. Yeah. Well, when you do that, it indeed does that. It's almost like being like electrocuted. It goes like it stiffens its arms, like bends into like bendy shapes, and its fingers also like start to twitch, and in a very stiff way. It bends its neck back, like you can see veins bulging everywhere, and it's like its eyes go as wide as possible, with its eyes still pointing upwards into his skull, and his teeth just like gnashed together like a vice or something, just like like it really like looks like it's in tremendous pain. And yeah, Rashkai was going to cast a spell on it.
Yes, as it comes to life, she casts Friends to try and calm it and make it more amicable. And as she does, her eyes kind of glow green a little bit. And kind of like somebody slowly exhaling smoke, just a green mist kind of flows out into the creature's eyes. And they, for just a hint of a second, get the same kind of green coloration as hers. And then when it calms down, she'll talk to it.
Yeah, it's kind of like giving it like a and it like it starts like mind. Yeah, exactly. Everybody's also seeing the visuals that are going on with the spells and everything. It might be stuff that you've never seen before and might not know how they exactly work, but you see that there's some spell casting going on. And yeah, what do you do?
As it calms down, she's going to say, "Hello, my name is Rashkai. What's yours?"
It kind of like a delirious patient on a slab. It's just kind of and it sees you, and its green eyes meet yours, and it says, "Rodia, my name is Rodia."
Where are you from, Rodia?
The Svalich Woods.
Which ones?
You've never heard of it?
Never heard of it? Okay. What happened to you?
Can we all hear the responses, by the way?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he's just talking out loud. Okay, thanks.
Yeah. Or at least I think that's how it works with the spell. I don't think there's any like psychic.
No, it doesn't specify that it's psychic or anything. It just says that it's
then it's going to be
I assume
audible.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's question 3 is already the like what happened to you. He says that my friend turned on me and disemboweled my entrails to the forest floor.
I'll kind of look over at Gerard and be like, "Can I ask him who his friend is?"
Sure. Nod.
Who is your friend?
He just Dragomir, the cursed bastard Dragomir.
I turn back to. There's one more question.
Yes.
Can I ask how he's cursed? And I'm asking her, how is your friend?
He's cursed by Mother Night herself.
You going now? I didn't catch that. What was it?
He is cursed by Mother Night herself.
All right, and that's all the questions.
So, as the magic fades, Gerard again will utter a prayer and just say, "Rest."
Yeah, there's a little bit like its chest like going like bobbing up and down until it just like looks like it's just gone to sleep, gone
And
under.
Rashkai will minor illusion some clothes on him.
All right.
Cover up your nudity as she belly dances away.
Fair enough.
Meanwhile, James, give me a Constitution saving throw.
like this. Give me a second. 14.
Oh yeah, you're not phased at all by this digging business. Like you can almost feel like you're showing everybody off by being the only one who's digging, and you're like you sometimes like get next to like a big boulder, and you're like screw it, just wincing out of there and just keep going on digging, and everybody can see how strong and useful you are. Before anybody else comes in to help. Oh yeah, I forgot. Warren did go to help. Yeah.
Well, I mean, I moved like 2 sticks, but as soon as the magic started, I was just kind of like holding the stick and kind of like paying attention to what's going on.
Okay, I see. Okay. Oh, in that case, James looks even better. Yeah, he's the lone workhorse here.
What was the names? Just trying to write them down, but I forgot them already.
Yeah, I can write them down in the but.
Oh, sweet.
Well,
Dragomir.
yeah, it's the guy's name was Rodia, so Rodya, and
spelled that right.
And the person who he said that did this to him is Dragomir, which is like Dragomir.
He was from a forest we never heard of.
Yeah,
The
from Svalage Woods. Yeah.
Svalage.
Once he's finished with his prayer over the body, he's going to start helping to dig the grave. But if the earth is as hard as what you were saying, you won't dig very deep and start gathering, you say, just like rocks and stuff to make like a mound.
Yeah.
We could just cremate him.
No, I want to return its body to where it came from.
Why am I digging this hole?
What? It was grown in the earth?
It's not where he
Don't
lived.
question it.
Fair enough.
Easy as if you don't question it.
Whenever you say that, the Gerard's just like, yep.
The stick that I'm still holding on to, kind of like, I kind of throw it to the side and just kind of move to the side to let them do their thing.
Yeah, Sharp will start helping out, and if needed, she will bring out her hand axes to help, like, or one of them, and like help chop off some of the like
Roots
stuff.
Okay, so is everybody besides Rashkai taking part in the physical toil of the?
Warren.
Oh yeah, and Warren. Yeah.
Oh, he
Okay.
in strong sticks.
Yeah. While you guys are,
It was the last one.
while you guys are working on the grave, both Rashkai and Warren can make a perception check for me. Rolled a 1.
I got like a 4 or some shit. Yeah, it's like a 4. So she's just like playing.
I got 16.
16. Okay. Well, while everybody else is like working and you're trying to look for maybe a reason to like, that's interesting, I must investigate, like, so you don't have to take part, you do notice something. You notice something flesh-colored on the underbrush on the ground there, like, let's say 3 meters from the body.
I go check it out.
When you go and check it out, you notice that it's a severed finger. And you can again make a investigation or a medicine check, or maybe a nature check.
All right. Well, we'll look at it together.
You're being held by Kiriman.
Of course.
Yeah.
It's always advantage.
Yeah. So that is 22.
22. Okay. In that case, when you're looking at it, and you can hear the snorts, from Kiriman while he's also like sniffing at it and looking at it. You can notice that it's very likely a middle finger of the middle finger of someone around the age range of the dead body, maybe a little bit younger. It doesn't look very thick. It looks kind of like let's say a 13 to 12-year-old's finger. There's still room for growth in that.
Like mine.
yeah. Or it could be a halfling's finger, but it's not hairy enough. No.
I kind of pick up the finger carefully, kind of hold it, look at it. Sharp?
I would say that around this time, it's like you're getting the finishing touches on the mound, and the burial stuff is like the physical toil of it is just about done at this point.
Sharp.
Sorry, I really thought you said Gerard. That's what I was looking for.
No.
Answer.
Sharp. Hey,
Yeah. Yes, Warren.
is the body missing a finger?
Is the
No.
body missing a finger? No.
It starts unburying it.
No, you would remember. You were thorough with going.
What?
Then
Did
I
you find a
found
finger?
I found a middle finger of somebody kind of similar in age, maybe a little younger.
She will come over to look at the finger.
All
Just
right.
the finger.
Yep, just a finger.
You will see just about the same things that were described to him, especially since he already saw it and kind of can point out things. But yeah, it's clear that even though, judging from like, let's say, skin tone or the apparent age, it could be his finger, but he wasn't missing one.
No.
So there should be another body around here, most likely, or somebody just lost it. I mean,
While the two of you are in the middle of talking about this, and the burial is just about done, and you're kind of thinking about the finger, and you're gonna one of you or both of you at the same time, kind of like just kind of casually look around you, and all of a sudden you notice in the distance, right as the aforementioned fog is also like kind of building around you a little bit. You notice in the distance, like let's say 100 meters in front of you, the trees somehow allow this long line of sight there. Around 100 meters from you, you notice a wolf. You notice a gray wolf, and you also notice that is all red with blood. And the moment you see it is the moment it turns around and bolts full speed away from you.
Away.
Yeah. To the same direction, like it goes like 180 and just runs its ass off.
Okay. What do we know about werewolves?
Roll Arcana.
Considering we're out to find
Yeah.
werewolves and werewolf hunters.
How much about magic and monsters do we actually know, since we're in a monster guild?
It depends. I'm sure each of you have different fields of expertise, but many of you, at least to my knowledge, are more experienced with undead. Cursed beings are in a category of their own, much like many other monster categories, and I would expect that many of you might not have all that much experience with cursed beings, just because a specialist group had to be called in, and also because you took the job without being able to be provided with any sort of like specialist tools or anything of the like. So I'm expecting that you don't have any personal experience with it. But you're still free to make a Arcana check to see if you've read about it or anything like that.
I rolled a natural 20, so I got a 22, and I love it because it plays into the whole veteran thing.
Excellent, excellent. You remember that, back in the day, back in the day when your guild was starting up and you were there and none of these people were yet there. You remember a member who sadly has passed away at some point, telling you about his experiences with shapeshifters and especially werewolves. And he had told you that that werewolves are susceptible to the kind of effects of magic. They are themselves, through their curse, magical beings to that extent to which magic itself is harmful to them and really irritates and really like shreds them apart. And also for a kind of a mortal, regular mortal person to protect themselves from them, silver has a specific effect on them. It's like an old legend kind of a thing where oh, this valiant knight killed a werewolf with a silver spear, but it's like those people that know that that's actually that's no BS. That's actually the right thing to do. And you know that when they are in their kind of werewolf form, they're around the size of a regular human. They're like strong. They have like big claws and teeth, and they're dangerous. But they're still like humanoid. They're still like under 2 meters or something like that in general. And also, you know that they can also shapeshift into regular wolves. That's about the extent of your knowledge when it comes to remembering stuff from experience with that kind of score.
Okay. Well, if that's what I know, I'm gonna tell Warren. If that wolf comes back, blast it.
Yes, ma'am. Specifically that wolf or any wolf?
Well, if any wolf approaches us, blast it.
Gotcha.
Nobody's just drinking from a stream, just.
Yeah, if they're just like casually in the distance, don't worry. But if they're approaching us, especially like
I'll
harmful
blast it.
intent, blast it.
Gotcha.
Okay.
If I recall correctly, it might be a werewolf. We can't know. Blast it.
It's also possible that it was a regular wolf who had been just munching on the entrails or something like that, or it's killed something else and it's covered with blood from that, because there wasn't really signs of being eaten alive or eaten.
Was it
after.
was it on the path? Did we see it kind of on the path that we already came from, or was it in a different direction?
It was further in. It was like if there's a road, you guys went like and you've kind of constantly been moving kind of away from the road further into the woods, and it was basically just like a little further on, and it just went even further on from you. But
there
it's
might be a body over there that it was eating on.
We can maybe investigate that path unless there's a better direction or trail that we pick up here.
I'll leave it to you.
Yeah, when you guys start to talk about this, everybody else will hear what you're talking about, and if there's any mention of something worth noticing or anything like that, everybody will also hear that and be sufficiently alarmed if need be.
Gerard, can you do the same trick on a finger?
No, needs to have a mouth.
Sure, it could go like yes or no.
No, it needs to have a mouth.
And you didn't find any trace of another corpse?
Not that I seen.
No,
Found a
not yet.
shoe back there.
A shoe?
Child's shoe. Yeah, female, wasn't it? It looked like a girl's shoe, didn't you say?
I didn't specify that. It's farm. It's this type of shoe that most likely it's a farmer's son or daughter.
Oh, okay.
So it's
But
just
it was
very
a
dark,
younger
leathery.
Child, wasn't it? It was like 7, you had said?
Yeah, 7 or 8
Yeah.
range. Yeah.
Yeah, they'll relay that it's younger child.
So it was
it
a
wasn't-
pretty gender neutral shoe.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, right, we should keep our eyes open if there's more dead people around or even injured.
That wolf might be a good bet to follow. Even if it is just
Yeah.
a normal wolf, it might be feeding on bodies.
Yeah, that's not too good. Let's finish up here, check for trails, and if you don't find anything, head after it.
Well,
And stay close. I don't like this mist. We could easily lose sight of each other.
I'll keep
And
up the rear.
she looks specifically at Rash and James when she says this.
Yeah, they're the new members of the whole group. So
Rash looks to Gerard for confirmation.
They just
Oh, you don't have to stay close. Yeah.
okay, but
Good job, James. I think we can start hiding the body now.
Yeah, great job, James.
I don't reply to Warren. I do reply to Sharp though. No problem.
Sharp, have you got a report card for that one? And he nods to Warren.
Yeah, soon.
right, at this point, the burial is completely done unless there's any kind of rites or anything of that sort that still need to be done.
No. Well, one, I don't have ceremony prepared as a spell, and two, he done enough prayers as he was moving the body and doing the gentle repose and stuff like that. So yeah, he'll be, as soon as it's covered, he'll be fine.
All right. Well, when you guys are done with that and you go and investigate the kind of area, you struggle to find any further leads to any other direction. It feels like most directions, judging from like broken branches and things like that, they kind of tend to lead towards the direction that you guys were looking at when you saw the wolf in the distance.
This aligns awfully well. Let's go.
All right. Everybody starts to move as a group, tightly knit. Everybody can see one another, and you're moving ahead in the woods. And while you're moving, and while you're like almost like a montage of moving in the woods, there, the kind of the air around you. Earlier, it felt much like the kind of morning dew and the kind of moist air, kind of feeling like your breath feels like really. It feels really like expressive. I don't know the right word for it, but still, it feels like the air is very fresh, morning dew. But now it's starting to feel more like heavy. It feels like your shoulders weigh a little more than they normally do. It feels like you're noticing your chest going down and up when you're breathing. It feels like you're not breathing as much through your nose as you are through your mouth, and it just feels like there's this kind of pressure maybe behind your eyes building, almost like you feel like there's a headache coming along. And while you're kind of experiencing these things, I would like to have everyone make a wisdom saving throw.
So it kind of feels like we're on a mountain or something.
Yeah, that's a good example. Yeah.
Wisdom.
15.
15.
Okay.
Is it? Are we throwing? Well, I have advantage against saving throws against spells or other magical effects.
So do I.
All right, go ahead and use advantage on that.
Yeah.
Well, what did he say?
Oh, that's terrible.
Saving throw.
I only have advantage when taking damage to maintain concentration, not on all wisdom saving throws.
Okay.
No, I have no advantage on saving throws.
11.
11. Okay. And
20.
What did Warren get?
20.
20. Okay. Well, most likely Rushkai is the only one who experiences this, especially to the extent that you feel it. You do feel exactly like a person who's familiar with migraines. Like you can feel, it's coming, kind of thing. and there's a little bit of wobbliness, a little bit of dizziness when you're walking there, and everybody feels this certain kind of uneasiness that it doesn't feel magical, but it does feel like some outside force is kind of invading you. And by the time you start to get this feeling, like really to the point where it's in the forefront of your mind, where it no longer feels like just a tingle in the spine. It's like something is going on. By that point, when you look around, you would notice that like every direction, like 3 trees down, is just white. It's like you can see like a few trees deep into the woods, and when you look a little further, it's like it ends in just white fog, like a wall of fog, like somebody had let out like a fire extinguisher or something, like just thick whiteness everywhere. And when you look around it, and you can see it everywhere. It's exactly what Warren described earlier about feeling a claustrophobia of sorts. You feel like you're surrounded by something, and it doesn't feel natural. It feels somehow unnatural, but not magic in the way you consider magic when you use it.
What's going on?
James will. Oh yeah. James was gonna say the same. I was gonna.
Am I the only... Who noticed the whiteness? Was that
Everybody
everyone?
noticed it, but
Everybody.
you noticed the kind of invasive nature of whatever it is around you, the sharpest and the most like expressive.
She'll just
I was just going to say,
explain it to everyone.
Does Rashkai, does she look like she's, I don't know, upset by this, in pain or anything like that? Does she look like?
Yes.
Yeah. So Gerard will go over to her, he's behind her. And, you okay?
Something is wrong. There's something wrong with my brain right now.
Or I guess he'll give a whistle. Not going to whistle because it'll be really fucking loud, but he'll give a sort of, that bottom lip in whistle to sort of get the Sharp's attention. Had to look at the name.
Yeah.
Something going on.
Yeah.
Magical?
Not sure. Rashkai's wizard, would he know that?
Rashkai is a wizard and a bard.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
I was
going to say, he'll ask Rashkai, can you tell if there's any magic going on?
You can tell to the point that it was described earlier, where it's clearly unnatural and magical somehow, but it's not the sort of magic that a wizard could like easily, at least like I recognize this as such and such.
She'll explain exactly what you just said.
I don't like it. And that's Sharp's comment. And like she says she doesn't like it, but like you see this little smirk on her lips, like it doesn't quite match her words.
James will.
Yep, go ahead.
James will ask, are we still going on the right trail? Do we still know where we are? Should we not head back?
No, we haven't found what we're looking for yet.
Maybe I can climb up one of those trees and see where we are.
Go ahead.
Okay. Well, James will
If
try
you-
and climb the
but-
tree. That's
If you lose sight of us, come back down.
okay. We'll do.
I look up. How high is the mist?
The mist
buffer?
looks. It's hard to say because it's still a little bit away from you, but it's like as far as you can see up until the trees themselves create such a wall of just branches and everything. As far as you can see just the white behind those trees. It's likely that they go almost as high as the trees themselves. It's possible.
Sharp will also go. Send him with him.
What's it?
To Warren. Send the imp with
Oh.
him.
Imp?
I forgot the name. What's the name? Kiriman.
Oh, that imp. Okay, sure. I'll.
All right.
I've got I've got safety precaution, and James will grab a rope.
Okay.
I will give you this end of the rope, and then I'll take the rest with me, and then we'll stay connected this way.
Yeah, good.
Okay.
The rest of you, even though you're not feeling it as hard as Rashkai is feeling the effects, you do feel like there's like twitches in your eyelids, there's numbness in your tongue, and there's like you feel like tinnitus. What is it like? Your ears are ringing a bit, and these kind of things. Like it just feels off.
Well, Kiriman is helping James. I'll kind of have like a telepathic communication with him. I say like, "You're experiencing this too, right? The same as everybody else is."
Gerard,
Human.
Sorry, what?
You were talking to Kiriman, right?
Yeah, I was talking to
Yeah.
him.
Yeah. He just replies, "Yes, human."
Any idea what it is?
Magic man.
So, Gerard's going to try dispel magic.
Okay, is Kiriman going to help James like like in his climbing? Is that the idea behind?
Well, I mean, help him. Probably assist. You know,
Show
maybe
stick away.
Yeah.
bent
Okay, well,
a few branches to
sure.
help him get up there.
Sure. In that case, when James goes to climb, you can roll your athletics roll with. You can use acrobatics or athletics. I'll let you use either one.
I actually think he needs it because he's like you're like a rogue with your second storage store movement stuff. So I think you actually have a climbing speed.
Oh, okay.
Do I?
I can't recall. I remember monks having at least something.
I think you have like
a
thief, right? And you have like a specialty where you do like you're really good at climbing stuff.
I don't see it anywhere, as far as I know.
Well, at least right now, Kiriman is like you can feel like you grab the rope for yourself for climbing. You can feel that there is a kind of invisible, small, like almost like a baby's size hand grabbing you by the collar, and you can hear the flap of wings behind you. So you can feel like if you lose your step, at least someone is gonna like yank on your collar. So that dropping won't be as.
You have you don't have, but you have second story work. When you choose this archetype at third level, you gain the ability to climb faster than normal. Climbing no longer costs you extra movement.
Yeah, okay. I have a question because my character only literally has one action, which is attack. Is that normal for a rogue, or did I miss something in
I
character
think you
building?
forgot to equip your items.
Oh, that might.
Well, we'll check that after the session to make sure everything's neat and everything. That we all know. Yeah, you have the weapons anyway, so you will have advantage on your roll whether you choose to roll athletics or acrobatics. Now that Kiriman is holding you by the collar as you are climbing.
Okay, then I'll roll my second dice now. The one's working, by the way. Here comes the second one. The second one is 22.
Okay, very nice. James is making good speed on his climbing. He's really nicely going along with the rope kind of going in your hands as he's climbing. Gerard was going to cast detect magic.
It was dispel magic. So it was from seeing Rashkai in pain. He was going to try and dispel that effect.
Oh, okay.
Or at least attempt to. The spell itself, any spell of 3rd level or lower, or any spell effect of 3rd level or lower ends, anything of 4th level or higher, it requires a roll. So,
Right, then you're gonna have to roll.
okay.
Oh.
It says the DC is 10 plus the spell's level, so whatever that is. So I think it's spellcasting ability. So what is my spellcasting? All right. Is +7. Ooh, that's good. Someone help me, Maz. 18 plus 7.
25?
25?
Yeah,
25.
All right. Again, you're free to describe what it looks like when you're trying to do this to your friend.
Sure. It's again, it's all very same motions of the rosary beads or the amulet, but this time it's probably more wizard-like in its magic than his more religious abilities. So it's the light that sort of emanates from him is a bit more sort of like tinged with blue, and it's a bit of swirling light sort of goes from him to the area around to try and dispel the thing, but like tendrils going out to try and worm out the magic.
All right. While you're in the process of casting this spell with your beads and everything, people might start to notice that a wind is building up. Anybody who's wearing a cloak, anybody who has long hair or anything of that sort, will start to feel it kind of going in the wind. And as you're casting it, Rashkai can definitely feel like as if you're giving pain relief. It's definitely like your state is being stabilized. It's not like, and it's gone, but it's like definitely like, oh, whatever you're doing, it's helping kind of thing. And while that's going on, the kind of wind starts to build, and it starts to already be the sort where you have to like wipe the hair off of your face. And if you're wearing a hat, you need to hold on to your hat kind of thing. And while James is climbing up the tree with the rope, James is starting to get higher and higher and higher on the tree when all of a sudden you start to feel also the wind blowing in your hair and all this stuff, where it's like almost natural to kind of like a little bit cover up a little bit so that there's no like those little twigs and a little bit of debris and stuff flying in the air. And all of a sudden this gush of air, just as if somebody opened the doors to like some windy tunnel or something, just like wash over every one of you. And all of a sudden, this just like a tsunami of just white fog just washes over you and leaves like everybody in this kind of wave of like some sort of a like protecting your face or something of that matter. And as soon as it came, it just goes off. And you can like there's dried leaves and there's all sorts of stuff just like falling from the air slowly to the ground, and it's almost like at the same rate as those things are falling, everybody's kind of like collecting themselves, and Rashkai can feel just the effects of the fog just like going away. They're just being like completely just pulled out of you. And when James was in the tree and you felt that, and you lift your head from it again, you can see that you're almost at the top. You can see the tops of other trees around you. And when you go a little bit higher with Kiriman helping you by the collar, and you look, you see mountains. You see rocky mountains everywhere. You remember when the mission was taken, and also you remember your local area well enough that you know that the Misty Forest is a vast, just pine wood forest everywhere, just like this plain, rather surfaced area. But now that you rise to the top, it's almost like you're daydreaming or something. It feels unreal to see the mountains. There's mountains and mist cascading off of the mountains, and you see like just these valleys and everything around you. It looks like you've completely been transported to some sort of a different land. And even though that seems like a far-fetched idea, it's almost like, okay, wake up, like close your eyes and open them again, and still the same vista opens up in front of you. And it looks
Rashkai will
rough.
think Gerard.
Hmm?
Rashkai will think Gerard.
But yeah, you're kind of like this, especially since you're not versed with magic, James. It's something that really like it almost like stuns you, because it's like it just doesn't make sense. But
Yeah,
nobody
exactly.
else downwards knows what you're seeing, unless Warren is using the Kiriman's eyes to see what he's seeing.
No, I'm just right now. I'm a bit focused on what's going down here, and I'm assuming everything's okay up there.
Yeah, it was like after the wave, it's like all of a sudden like silence finally, and almost like this calmness around you, and everybody who has been feeling these odd twitches and numbness of the tongue and everything like that, they're all gone.
Okay.
Gerard will-
I'll go ahead first.
I was going to say, Gerard will, if he had time casting the spell to protect himself from the wind, he'll drop his arm, look around, and sort of. I don't think that was me.
Okay, as for James, James will probably know it's not a dream because Kirimon's grasp is still on me, so I will still feel something, right? So I'll know it's not a dream. So as soon as I notice that we're somewhere else and it's real, I'll go down. Something's not right, guys. I don't think this is the Misty Forest anymore.
Why
Yeah,
not?
you guys can hear him yelling it out.
Why
Yeah.
not?
Yeah, I'll climb down first.
Okay. Yeah, you can
When I
see
get
James
down-
coming down. Yeah.
As I come down, James will say, "Yeah, there are mountains around us. There shouldn't be any mountains here, right?"
No.
You're seeing things.
No, I'm not kidding. There are mountains and valleys around us right now, and there's mist coming from the mountains.
What directions were the mountains? Point.
All around us.
All around us?
There are no mountains around here. What did your companion say? Say to Warren.
I'll check with
Do you-
Kirimon.
Yeah, do turn to him like expecting him to answer.
Yeah, I'll check with Kirimon and say like,
Okay.
what did you see?
The half-man speaks truth. Mountains everywhere, valleys, man.
That is weird. Is it due to the magical effect that we've been under?
No magic mountains, man. Kiriman doesn't lie.
Is this in like the infernal between them loud, or is it?
No, it's
like,
probably common. We're speaking common.
You're talking common. Okay.
Yeah.
So we all hear it. That's my point.
Sharp, I don't like this. I think we should head back to the road. Get our bearings.
We could
Has it
try.
been more than an hour?
I'd say it's likely to be close to that at least, if not entire hour. No, the burial thing and everything. Yeah, it's been an hour.
Yeah, we could try. Yeah, let's backtrack.
All right. What's everybody's timetable like? I'm just checking at this point. Like,
No.
usually the sessions have been like 2 hours. I'm just checking.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm whatever.
Yeah,
Yeah,
9 o'clock's a stop for me.
I have to go in about 45 minutes, but that's about it.
Okay, good. In that case, yeah.
I was gonna say for James Baxter, I was gonna seeing that the situation is unnatural. I'll be very cautious and looking around if something's not normal.
All right. Around the time that you guys gather yourselves and start to head out, when you start to well, first of all, whoever decides to go and be like the point man for the group can go and roll survival to see if you can make it heads or tails of the.
I'd assume that's sharp.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll help her.
But isn't it 9 for you now? Bryce? Isn't it 9 for you now?
Well, the clock's not on. Correct, it is. I thought it was 8.
Well, that's a good sign. 2 hours feels like 1.
It actually did. It actually
Yeah,
did feel like
yeah.
1 hour.
Geez, we should have got rid
Yeah.
of me as a DM long ago. Yeah.
Well, yeah. So basically, meaning that your time is
Yeah,
up
I'm
now.
going to need to shoot off. There are baby bottles to be washed, and
All right, I hear you. All right, in that case, this is where we're gonna leave it off this time, and we're gonna pick it up next week.
Do you
Awesome.
want my roll now or later?
Go ahead and roll now.
It's 20.
Natural 20.
No,
Okay. Okay.
filthy 20.
it's a 17 plus 3, okay?
All right, yeah. That's good. That's good.
No bad.
We'll pick up from there next time. So yeah.
Cool. I
All right.
shall stop the stream.
Everyone.
Bye.